Hi, Kendra.
How are you
Coach
doing
Kendra.
today?
Good. I'm a little bit tired today.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Had a good week though, so
You did?
excited about that. Yeah.
Good. Tell me a little bit about your week. What was one of the best things that happened?
So I'm doing my practicum right now for teaching, and I got to run my whole morning with my class without my teacher there. So that was pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
Felt really good.
That's
so.
a great opportunity for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had fun.
Well, that's what matters. So right now in this moment, you're pretty good, you think, though, or?
Yeah, like I said, I'm a little bit tired. Yeah, so I struggled a little bit with some of my goals, but.
Okay. Well, now that you're talking about your goals, we can just kind of work into talk about your weekly goals. Tell me, I'm interested in how they went. Which one would you like to start with?
Let's start with the positive and then we'll go
good.
to the not so positive. So I ended up buying my lunchbox, which I was excited about because I feel like that'll really get this 3-month goal on the road.
Yep.
So I decided that since I was already in town running some errands, I would just stop by and buy one, and I found one that I really liked that was a really good size. So yeah.
Good.
It was good.
That sounds like you went out and you were ambitious and found one that you liked, which is extra good. Maybe you'll use it. Hopefully.
Yeah, if it's cute, it really helps. You can carry it around like a purse.
What would you say is your best experience with this goal? What was a highlight for you?
Probably just the fact that I had set a goal and then I was able to complete that goal. And I mean, it kind of gives you that sense of empowerment, like you can do the goals that you set for yourself. So I think it was like a really good step.
A good starting step, it sounds like. It sounds like you gained a lot of self-confidence, self-efficacy in yourself, and you went out and you did your goal and you accomplished it, so that's a great start.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that you learned anything from this goal? I mean, I know that you said that you learned kind of how it feels to complete a goal, but would you say you learned anything else?
Just kind of that if you have something in mind, you can go out and plan for it. And that's something that you just need to like do it and get it over with, because I have that habit of like I just put things off and never do them. And I think that having a plan for this, that I was going to buy it on a Wednesday and get it done and just get it over with. And it really, I mean, it wasn't painful at all, obviously.
Yeah.
So just that I need to start just planning those goals, sticking to them, and then, I mean, they'll work themselves out.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're really determined. I mean, you set a goal and you go out and get it, and that'll obviously come in handy for setting some new goals. But as far as this goal goes, what would you say your percent complete was if you had to put a percentage to this goal? It sounds like you completed it.
Yeah, so I would say 100%.
Yeah, I would too.
It's done, so.
Yeah, you got your lunchbox, so you're ready to maybe start setting some other nutrition goals, and maybe we can talk about that later in the session if you're interested in that. But let's move on to your next goal. Do you want to tell me a little bit about your walking goal? I think the goal was to walk 5 times a work week for 15 minutes each time.
Yeah, I didn't do so well with the walking this week.
Okay.
I only made it out 2 of the 5 days, so I was a little bit disappointed in myself, but you know, you just get so busy during the day and you're like, I'll do it later, and that's something that I just kept putting off, and so it was completely my fault that I didn't make time for it, so.
Yeah. So it sounds like you did do it on a couple days though, right?
Right.
Okay, so what worked well for you on those days?
Well, it was a little bit nicer on those days. I mean, it's been getting colder lately, and obviously that makes me want to just stay inside more, but on the other days, you know, things just come up, like you don't really feel well, or you get off work late or something like that, and then it just kind of gets put on the back burner as something that I can do later. I have all this homework to do or something like that it just got pushed aside. So.
Yeah, there are many barriers when it comes to exercise, and it sounds like you've kind of identified some of those. So, I mean, that's the first step to working over them. So that's great. What would you say would be your best experience with this goal? It sounds like you did walk on 2 of those days. So how did those days go? What was good about it?
I feel like the walking made me more energized. Like I haven't really been getting a lot of exercise lately, and so it's just kind of nice to have that like time to yourself and to get back in the swing of like doing something that's good for you. And I mean, it makes you feel less tired. I noticed that I was, felt more awake when usually at like 4:30 I would feel kind of dragging, but I didn't get that feeling those days that I walked.
That's
so
great. You came in today saying you were a little tired, so maybe
yeah.
that could
Yeah, definitely.
help. What did you learn anything from this school? I mean, it sounds like you learned maybe you have more energy when you walk, but anything else?
I think the biggest thing is that I need to just do it when I say that I'm going to do it, and maybe schedule that into my time every day, because otherwise I tell myself, like, I don't need to schedule it and I'll just go along and it'll fit in. But I think that this made me learn that I really do need to just schedule it and have that set time set aside every day for it.
It's easy for other things to come up, and then other things get pushed aside when it's not set in stone.
Yeah.
So, well, that's great. I mean, you still completed it 2 out of the 5 days this week, so that's
better than none.
Yeah, it's a great start. So that was a great job, and it sounds like when you did do it, you had a good experience with it, so that's good. So for this goal, what would you say your percent complete would be if you had to give it?
Probably around 40, just because it wasn't quite half the days, so it's a little bit under.
Yeah. But if you think about that, that's still 40% you completed your goal. That's good. That's a great start, and maybe we can build from it on next week's goals if you're interested.
Definitely.
Okay, good. Well, now that we've kind of talked about your weekly goals, I just want to touch base with you about our 3-month goals. Do you want to tell me what your 3-month goals are? Do you remember?
One of them is to finish a 5K.
Okay.
And then the other is to start packing my lunch.
Okay.
For work, at least, every day that I go to work. So.
Okay, yeah. Obviously, you're kind of on your path. You think you're still working towards that goal. I mean, you bought a lunchbox, which is great, and you've been trying to work on your walking, but...
Yeah, I definitely think I would be closer with the lunch packing. I mean, the 5K, I feel like the walking 5 times a week will really help with that. So hopefully we'll get that goal on the road. And
so maybe you want to work a little bit more on nutrition, and maybe we can do that later this session if you're interested.
Yeah, because that would definitely help me. I feel like I'm close to that part. I just need not quite where I need to be. So
okay, yeah, for sure. But you still think that those 3-month goals are a good goal? You're working towards them?
Yeah, definitely reasonable. So
great. You're still committed, so we don't need to revise them at all. It sounds like you're good.
Yeah.
I feel like the goals that we're setting are right where they need to be with the 3 months. So you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
And you're working towards your vision still, so I mean, you're healthy yourself, so that's great. So this is kind of the part in the session where we have some time to just kind of talk about whatever you would like to talk about.
Okay.
Was there one topic, I know we kind of mentioned this, but was there one topic you really...
Yeah, I mean, I really just think we should talk about the nutrition part of the lunch packing, because it's so easy to come up and, like, just grab, like, a bag of chips or something like that and just throw it in your lunch. And maybe that's not always the best option. That's not really the point of packing your lunch. So maybe if we could just talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so lunch packing and maybe nutrition overall is kind of what I'd like to focus on. Okay, and you're okay with talking about that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So when it comes to nutrition, I know we kind of talked about this with running. You kind of mentioned some barriers that you have. What do you think some of your barriers might be for nutrition?
Definitely the time. Like, I know that cooking is a lot better for you than going out to eat or grabbing something on your way home, or maybe like heating up a frozen pizza. But I feel like when I'm at the end of the day, I'm just so tired from work and doing everything that I run around doing school and all of that, that at the end of the day, I'm just like, I don't want to cook. I don't want to do anything. I just want to have it there. And especially like if I'm running on a time crunch, then it's just easier to grab something, eat it real quick, and then go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like time is a huge factor.
Okay.
And also, like, in the morning time when I wake up, I'm usually running really late.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of hard to, like, think about all of the things that I need to do, and when I can just grab $5 or $10 and grab lunch, and that's one less thing that I have to do in the morning. So I feel like those are probably the 2 main parts that I struggle with.
Okay, so it kind of sounds like maybe time is one of your biggest, and then maybe just planning also.
Right.
Okay, so maybe that's something that we can come back to. But what strengths do you think that you possess that would maybe help you work to overcome those barriers?
I feel like I have a pretty good amount of knowledge of what foods I should be eating. So like I did Farrell's, and they teach you the whole nutrition part of their program, and so you become really knowledgeable about what things have a lot of carbs, what things don't, how you should balance out those smaller meals. So I feel like that's probably one of my strengths, because I know how I should be packing my lunch.
Right.
I just don't always do it like that. So
well, that's great. It sounds like you have and maybe you have tried to do this before, and it sounds like you have the knowledge that you need, which is a great start. Some people, they don't even have that, so you're kind of a step ahead of the game. When you did do Farrell's, what kind of worked for you with that your nutrition? Did anything stick out to really working for you?
Well, at the time I was living with my parents at home, and so I saw them a lot. So they kind of had their meals planned out, and so then that kind of just led into me having my meals planned out. So like they would grill up a bunch of chicken, and I could just grab the chicken in the morning, grab a yogurt or whatever out of the fridge, and then like they already had everything kind of like. They had the fruits and veggies cut up, and they had the meat already cooked and the eggs already boiled, and so I didn't have to do any of that. And so that made it a lot easier.
Definitely.
Than me, where I have now when I live by myself, I have to do all of that.
So it sounds like when you have the healthy choices in front of you, you make that choice.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, that's a huge battle sometimes. Temptation, but it sounds like when you have those in front of you, then it's an easy choice for you.
Yeah, it's just a lot easier because it's already there. Like, that's the thing with the not so good foods, is they are easier than cooking up, grilled chicken or something like that.
The time factor comes back in. Yeah. Okay, well, when you are looking at your nutrition, what are kind of the pros and cons that you see? Like, what are the pros to eating healthy, and maybe what are the not so good things about eating healthy? What do you think?
I definitely think I feel like the pros are kind of obvious. Like I notice that I feel a lot better when I eat better.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to that energy thing when I work out too. Yeah. And like especially when I drink a lot of water, I can really tell the difference. Okay. We've kind of talked about this already. The not so great thing is it's just time consuming. Yeah. A little bit more expensive too to buy the fruits and vegetables, but I feel like that's not really ever an issue. The pros are just it'll be better for you. You feel better, and you just know that like what you're putting in your body is something that is good for it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when I'm hearing you talking, it kind of sounds like, to me, that you're talking more about the pros than you are the cons. So maybe one side's kind of outweighing the other, which is great. I think that from Farrell's, you have the knowledge, and you know what works for you because you've done it before. It's just kind of seeing what works best with you and your schedule right now to make that happen. So why don't we can play this brainstorming game, and it sounds like maybe packing lunch is something that you're kind of concerned about, and it's one of the goals that we're working towards. Would you be interested in coming up with some ideas on how you can maybe make it easier on yourself to pack some lunch?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so there's kind of some rules to this game.
Okay.
So I'll start, and we'll kind of just go back and forth. And we'll talk specifically about ways that you think you can make it easier on yourself to pack a lunch for work.
Okay.
So we're going to stay kind of on that topic. I'll say 3 ideas and you'll say 3 ideas. We'll just go back and forth. And there are no bad answers here. So anything goes, anything so big or so small, they're all good ideas. We're just kind of trying to generate some ideas to help you make sure you can pack your lunch.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start. And I'll say that one thing that has worked for a few other people is meal planning your whole week on Sunday. So planning that whole week of meals on Sunday.
Okay. Maybe like because I'm so busy in the morning and like kind of scrambling to get things together, it might help to pack my lunch the night before and just like throw it in the fridge or something like that. So that I can it's just like one more thing that I have to grab out of the fridge.
Yeah, and that definitely helped with the time too. One other thing I was thinking was maybe you said convenient, so maybe like easy to go items in the morning when you don't have time to pack at night. So maybe like a healthier frozen dinner, or frozen dinners that you make yourself and throw in the freezer would be better, because you could just grab those in the morning instead of seeing what other convenient foods you
Right.
might have.
And then I think also like something that kind of piggybacks off that would be like having a grocery list when I go to the grocery store, so that I kind of know, because right now I just kind of like, when I'm there, I just kind of grab what I think, but then maybe having that planned out, that would make that last part easier. I could just grab things that are gonna aid in packing my lunch for the next day.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Another idea I had, which could go with grocery shopping, is packing easy to go items.
Mhm.
So maybe if you don't want to pack that huge pineapple chunks you just had, maybe if some frozen pineapple or a canned pineapple would work better for your lunch box or be more convenient, maybe that's something we could look into.
Mhm. And then also like buying Tupperware maybe that fits in my lunchbox, my new lunchbox, would be helpful, because right now it's just kind of like putting everything in bags, and like that kind of limits the amount of, or the kinds of food that you can take. So that might be something else that would help.
Yeah, and then that could also help with portion sizes
Yeah.
too. Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, so I think brainstorming's over.
Good.
What of those ideas do you think you could apply? I mean, did any of them stand out to you? Did any of them you were like, that's not gonna work?
Well, I really like the idea of planning my meals, and I think that kind of hits on a lot of the brainstorming ideas that we came up with. Just like having that plan, and I mean that's come up in this meeting before, just like planning for that. So maybe on Sunday just planning out what I'm gonna take every day, and even going ahead and putting together of that what I can, so that it kind of makes it easy to, it's like a 5-minute thing rather than like a 30-minute, I have to cook all this and get all this together, and then it just carries on throughout the week. So I definitely think that like taking just a chunk of time on Sunday night to plan out every one of those meals would be something that would just work, and I could just put it into my schedule.
Yeah.
So then it could be something that I have planned, and it's time for that. And
well, it sounds like your week might be kind of busy, so maybe you have that more flexibility on Sundays. And
a little bit. So
that's great. Okay, so would you like to kind of take that and turn it into a weekly goal? Are you interested in doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably for a weekly goal, it would be good to say that I'm like just packing my lunch 5 of the 5 days of the week. Maybe like 3 out of the 5 would be a good start, and then we can move to the 5 out of the 5.
Yeah, because your 3-month goal is packing it every day of the week, so maybe we could start lower. Is that what you were thinking? Okay, so you were thinking 3 out of the 5 days a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like that's probably, it'll be challenging, but 3 out of 5 would be a good start.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Do you want to set a goal more in depth around that? Maybe, thinking about it on Sunday and like planning them on Sunday, or packing at night, or is there anything else that you want to add to that at all? Or
probably just start the planning time on Sunday, and then see how that leads into the other things, like packing it the night before, if that's, because even though I have it planned on Sunday, I might not necessarily have it packed, so maybe those 2 goals could kind of go together. But I think just starting with the Sunday planning time and then see how that leads into the other ideas that we talked about would probably be a good start.
Okay, so I kind of see 2 goals there kind of aligning with each other. The first one being that you, this Sunday, and maybe next Sunday, because we're not going to meet for 2 weeks, are going to plan all of your 3 meals on that Sunday.
Right.
Okay, great. So you said that packing it, our next goal maybe, but for this goal, just packing or planning and making food on Sunday, what kind of is your confidence level in that, your percent, if you had to give it a percentage from 0 to 100?
Probably 80%.
Okay.
I just know that I need to really plan, like I said, plan for it and make sure that I'm not like, well, I have a ton of homework, so I can just put that aside.
Right.
So, I really feel like it's perfectly feasible and fits in my schedule, but it's just going to come down to that time when I'm...
so really staying
determined. making sure that it's something that I hold a priority on Sunday.
Okay. Well, it sounds like, 80% is pretty high, so
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like you have a lot of confidence in yourself. That's awesome. Would you mind just restating that goal back to me just so we're on the same page?
Yeah, so I am going to plan my meals on Sunday and probably the next Sunday for 3 meals a week or 3 meals a day for the following week.
Great. Okay. So then the other goal I kind of saw that we developed in that was that you want to pack your lunch for those work weeks 3 out of the 5 days of the week. Does that sound good?
Yeah, just to make sure that I kind of get on the road too. I mean, the lunchbox is a great start, but I kind of feel like the next step is actually actually packing it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. So I mean, if you follow through with that planning on Sunday, I think it would be really easy for you, or maybe not easy, but easier for you to make that goal. What would you say your percent confidence is for the actually packing 3 out of the 5 days a week?
I would say that as long as my Sunday planning goes well, then probably 100%, because I see no reason that if, my meals are already planned out and some of them are even pre-packed, then it makes sense that at least 3 of the 5 days I would complete my goal.
Okay.
So
that's awesome.
I'm pretty confident in it.
That's great. That's a great place to start. I think 3 is a good number. More than half, but still maybe within reach. It sounds like you're confident it's within your reach.
Yeah. Confident.
Would you mind restating that goal to me?
So I'm going to pack my lunch 3 out of the 5 days of the work week.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so there's 2 goals. I think we should aim for at least 1 more.
Okay.
Was there another maybe topic area you were interested in setting it in? I know we had set the walking goal last week. I wasn't sure if you were interested in carrying that over maybe.
Yeah, I feel like because I didn't really meet that goal this week, that is something that I can try to work towards next week.
Okay.
So just kind of, goals kind of take steps to get there.
Yes, they
and
do.
So I think 2 out of the 5 was kind of like a step in the right direction. Definitely not reaching my goal though.
Right.
So I definitely want to keep working on that.
Okay, and do you want to keep the exact same goal, or did you want to change it up at all? I know we had 5 out of the 5 days of the week last week. Do you think that's still realistic for you?
Yeah. I think that I just need to take the steps to get there. So just planning it in my schedule and making sure that it's something that I make sure that I get done. It's only 15 minutes. I should be able to fit it in somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. It sounds like once you have something down, you kind of stick to it.
Yeah, definitely. Once I get in that routine, it's really easy for me, but it's just getting there. That's kind of been the hard part.
And that's a struggle for a lot of people. So that's normal, but I think that you're on the right path to get there.
Yeah.
So what do you think your percent confidence is in that goal this time?
Probably like a 50% confidence.
Okay.
Just because I know how my attitude was about it last week. I'd like to say that I wouldn't have that same, but it is getting colder out, and I'm like, oh, if it snows, I'm not going to want to go, and just things that come up. So I would like to say that I had a little bit more faith in myself, but I definitely feel like I probably could do it. Let's just say that.
Okay. Well, 50% is still pretty high, and your other goals are very high as well. So I think that if you have that determination that if you set yourself to it, I think you'll really do it and follow through. So I think that that's a great goal, and it's working right towards your 3-month goals. So that's great.
Yeah.
Would you mind restating that goal again?
Yeah. So I'm going to walk 15 minutes a day for 5 days. So hopefully fitting that somewhere in my work and my school schedule.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I think those are great goals. They're right aligned, like I said, with your 3-month goals and ultimately your overall vision. So I think that's, you're right on your way, and it sounds like you're really determined and confident in yourself. Yeah, that's half the battle. So I'm excited to see what happens this week, because it sounds like you have a lot of plans. So that's awesome. I really appreciate you coming in and talking to me.
Yeah, no, thank you. It really helps to have someone to kind of bounce ideas off of and try to hold me accountable for something.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like your schedule is so busy, and I appreciate you taking the time to come talk. do you feel like you learned anything from this, or is there anything I can change to make this more suitable for you?
I feel like we kind of tailored the goals so that they're manageable this week. I mean, I feel like kind of just by bouncing my ideas off of you, I definitely know that I need to plan.
Okay.
And that's going to be probably my biggest thing, because I kind of tend to be a little unorganized and a little spare of the moment. Let's do this. And I just need to kind of kick that habit and just say, plan this. This is what I'm going to be eating. This is when I'm going to be working out. And then once it kind of gets into my routine and it becomes like a normal thing, then I think it'll be a lot easier to fit into my schedule.
That's great.
So, yeah.
I'm glad you felt like you got something out of this.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're right on your way, and like I said, I'm excited to see what happens next time we meet.
Yeah, me too.
The next time we meet, do you just want to meet at the same time 2 weeks from today?
Yeah, that would be
good for
fine.
you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank
I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.